Hello everybody, Rebecca here. Hope you all are doing well. Today is 7/31/2025 and the time is 12:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have y'all looking at Google Earth, but for this Google Earth, let's take a look real quick at EMSE. So we're going to back all the way up 3 days, or yeah, three lists, to the 7/16/2025. That was when our 7.3 earthquake struck in Alaska. It was 20 kilometers deep, so we can look here and see this is the earthquake location right here for the 7.3 that hit. Now, I am only looking at all the 5.0 activity and above since the 16th of July. So, the 16th of July, we had the 7.3. And this earthquake here was on the 27th. This earthquake here was on the 16th. This earthquake here was on the 21st. This earthquake here was on the 26th. This earthquake here was on the 26th. So this pattern shows me that movement from this area has been going towards the west. So when we come over here to this location, we can see that this 8.8 earthquake struck on 7/29/2025. As we are looking at the earthquakes that have spread out from here, I am looking and seeing, because this is Kamchatka, this is Kuril Islands. Kuril Islands has had several fives. They've had a 5.0 and a 5.2. There has also been other earthquakes in the 4 range. As we go around this plate here, and this is the Philippine Sea, and this over here is, I believe, this is the South China Sea. There was an earthquake here on 7/20. There was an earthquake here on 7/19. As we follow this around, we can also look over here to see that there was an earthquake here, which was on 7/24. This one here was a 5.4. This one here was on 7/19, and it was a 5.4. As we follow these around in this direction here, we can see that we've had more earthquakes over here. We had on the 7/18, we had a 5.2. I can get these to pull up. On 7/21, we had a 5.8. On 7/24, there was a 5.7. As we move up into this region here, there was on 7/26 a 5.7. On 7/23, there was a 5.5. On 7/16, which was the day of the 7.3, there was a 5.1. On 7/27, there was a 5.1. This was a deeper earthquake as well. On 7/19, there was a 5.2. On 7/25, there was a 5.8. On 7/23, there was a 6.3. There was also a 5.6 and a 5.5, a 5.0, and a 5.7. As we move on around the plate here, we can look and see that there has been several earthquakes along here. There was a 5.1. This was on 7/25. It was a 5.3 on 7/17. There was a 6.5 on 7/28. That is closer to a 7.0. That was the Nicobar Islands region. So this one here for 7/28 is coming after our 7/16 for the Alaska earthquake. And after, let me get it up here real quick. And it is also coming after the 8.8 earthquake, which occurred on 7/29. So let me see here. Am I correct? Yeah, 7/28. Got to remember the dates are different when it comes down to looking at EMSC from the U.S. So this earthquake would have been on the 29th in the Nicobar region area. So coming up here, we had the 6.5, which was 7/28. So that occurred. This earthquake occurred between the 7.3 and the 8.8. Then we've had a 5.0 on the 29th and a 5.0 on the 29th. As we move up into Myanmar, we've had a 5.4 on 7/18/2025. However, we have not had any big activity all the way up into here until we got to a 5.4 northern Iran. This earthquake occurred on the 19th. So it was in between the 7.3 and the 8.8. So as we move around here, we can see that there was an earthquake over here, 5.1, 7/23/2025. Now, as I had just noted, there was a 4.5 in California just a few minutes ago. Now, there is a 5.5 Azores, Cape St. Vincent Ridge. This one was a 5.5 occurring on 7/25/2025. This is the Mid-Atlantic. As we move up here towards Iceland, there has also been a 5.1 in Iceland. This one was on 7/23/2025. There was also an earthquake up here yesterday for Russia. So it occurred over on this side, and it was a 4.5, and it was right here within this region where my mouse is. As we move on down, we can see that there really hasn't been any activity except smaller earthquakes which have been coming into Argentina. We can see that there has been activity out here. There was a 5.2 Easter Island region. It was a magnitude 5.2, and it occurred on 7/20/2025. All the way over here at the Cocos Plate, there was a 5.2, a 5.4, and a 5.6. 5.6 occurred 7/19, 5.2 occurred 7/19, and the 5.4 occurred 7/19. Now, as we move down here towards New Zealand, since I didn't get around to this area yet, you can see down in here, this is where we had some bigger earthquakes. We had a 5.8, a 5.4, 5.4, 5.0, 5.1, 6.2. The 6.2 was 7/26/2025. The 5.0 and the 6.9. 6.9 was 7/28/2025. So, as I've been watching, I have not really seen any movement that has been going from towards the United States. So I am worried about the United States right now and the pressure that's being put onto the west coast of the United States and Mexico and South America. I am expecting that we're going to start seeing some activity increase. So as we're looking over here, we've had a 5.0. We've had a 5.1. On the 17th, there was a 5.0, and there was a 5.1. There was a 5.6 on the 23rd. There was a 5.0 on the 31st. There was a 5.8 on the 29th, a 5.6 on the 23rd, a 5.0 on the 17th, and a 5.3 on the 18th. I believe we got this one already. This was on the 17th. As we move up here towards Fiji area, there was a 5.1. It was on the 30th. And a 6.6 on 7/24/2025. So that completes what I am looking for. This activity here has been sending activity over to Argentina area. Let's take a look at EMSC here. We'll look at the magnitude 4s. We can see that there was just a 4.3 greater Los Angeles, California area. It was 10 kilometers deep, so it was shallow, and it was probably felt. There was also a 4.5 off the coast of Oregon 2 days ago. So as we're looking here, we can see Nicaragua's had a 4.0. Don't know where Baffin Bay is. Baffin Bay is, this is the one that I was talking about yesterday. That's near Nuuk, Greenland. Okay, as we're looking, we can see that El Salvador, Mojuk in Mexico, and I'm still in the 5s here, I think. Yep. Okay, hang on a second. Let me get this fixed here. Okay, so if we're looking, that has been downgraded to a 3.1, no, 4.3 and the 3.1 Greater Los Angeles, California area. We're going to look at that on Google Earth in just a minute. Okay, so you can see Nicaragua. There's been several earthquakes in Greater Los Angeles, California. So yes, I am thinking that the earthquake activity is going to pick up on the west coast of the United States. So let's get California into our map here. We're going to go look at California earthquakes. So this is, let's do 30th and 29th. Boy, it has been busy. So let's put this whole entire thing into Google Earth here and show the activity that is going on in California. All right, this is everything from one page, EMSC. This goes all the way back to 7/17/2025. So that is half of this month. So we are going to look at just the last few earthquakes which have occurred. However, I'm just giving y'all a view of what is going on with California and these earthquakes here that have happened since the 17th of July. So today is the 31st. There have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 earthquakes. So the first one was a 3.1. This 3.1 has occurred offshore. However, this is the San Gregorio Fault. This earthquake here was 14 kilometers deep. The next earthquake was a 3.0. This looks like it is also near a fault, and there's been a little swarm going on here. So this fault here is the Fontana Fault. There's been a 2.8 in the same area, and a 4.3 within the same area, and a 3.1. They're all occurring in the downtown Los Angeles area, well, within the Los Angeles area. I can't say that's downtown, but let's go take a peek and see what's in this area besides a fault line. Ah, looks like mining. Or trash dump. Looks more like a trash dump. Mid-Valley landfill. So the earthquakes are going on near a Mid-Valley landfill. Interesting. Not sure what else is going on at that landfill, but having earthquakes at the landfill, you guys. But there's also a fault line that runs through there. That's the Fontana seismicity fault line. And it can deliver up to a 6.5 magnitude earthquake. Okay, you guys, so that's what I've got for you. Just wanted to go over the 5s that have been going on around the world. The 5s, 5+ earthquakes So earthquakes that are going from 5.0 and above. And as to what is going on around the planet, that is why I put in these earthquakes to show y'all what has been going on since the 7.3 struck here, and then the earthquakes over here in Russia. So let's see here. We'll take a good look at Canada real quick. If I can pull up Canada, we'll see what's going on in Canada. Take a good look here. What we got up here? That was today. There was a 4.9 earthquake. This is 203 kilometers northeast of Pond Innuit. I believe that's Nunavut, Innu. So, you can see there was a 4.9 Canada. So let's get this in here. Sorry, I'm not going over the geology of the area. I did mark this spot yesterday, so, or not yesterday, but you can see that that's the 5.0 Baffin Bay that occurred. It was 3 kilometers deep, so it is being rung in by EMSC as well. So there was a 5.0 here in Canada, Baffin Bay area. Okay, what else we got? There was a 3.7. And it was a suspected industry-related event, 27 kilometers southwest of Blueberry River 205. That's British Columbia. So let's go take a peek at this area. Why does this look like the United States? Wait a minute. This is Canada, right? Yeah, it's Canada. Okay, I'm looking at the map wrong. So this happened in British Columbia. Says it's an industry-related event. And we can see that there are some pads out here. Not sure what the industry is. This looks like woods to me. Anyways, you guys, that's the update. I hope y'all are doing well. Please remember to like, subscribe, to share the video. Please remember to, if you'd like to help out with the channel, we do have a PayPal. Any help given is much appreciated. Anyways, you guys, that helps to keep the electric and the lights on. Anyways, you guys, I love you. Please remember to tell someone you love them. Tomorrow's never promised, and make each day an adventure. Much love, and I will see you all on Saturday.